Hello everyone, I am Christoph from K.N.P channel. I am delighted to have you back for another episode of Strange Tales Show. Thank you for joining us. This time we will explore ufology through a UFO observation story in Sweden, near Ängelholm, specifically in the Kronoskogen forest. The incident took place in the town of Ängelholm, more precisely in the Kronoskogen forest. In the month of May in the year 1946, precisely at 10 p.m, Gösta Carlsson, who is the witness of the observation, finds himself outside, enjoying the melodious song of thrushes and other birds near the picturesque Skäldervik beach. When he returns, Gösta turns on his lamp, which he always takes with him on his nighttime excursions. Ascending a hill, he gains a vantage point of the nearby forest and gazes at a hidden clearing nestled among the trees. All of a sudden he notices something shiny in the vicinity. Assuming it to be the glare from his lamp, he switches it off. Yet the glow remains. Gösta assumes they're campers or young people in the forest, still persisting with their thoughts. However, intrigued by his curiosity, he finally decides to go there. After descending the hill and carefully crossing a marsh, Gösta Carlsson is about to enter the beautiful meadow. At that moment, he observes something that will remain engraved in his memory for the remainder of his life. In front of Gösta, a disc-shaped object rests on telescopic supports, creating a fascinating and mysterious sight. All supports are placed at equal distance from each other. At the base of the disc, a hatch and a ladder are visible. A radiant light escapes from it. Gösta attempts to scrutinize the device, but the narrow angle prevents him from seeing anything else, leaving him only with the sight of this intense light. After a careful observation of the device, Gösta does not think for a moment that someone is playing a joke on him or that he is facing German pilots who have escaped from a camp. I remind you that we are 1 year after the end of World War II. But deep down inside him, and he doesn't believe it himself. Located at the device's top is a periscope resembling the ones commonly seen on submarines. This last one is divided into 4 parts. Further on, he spots the famous glow that he had seen a few minutes earlier in the distance. Later, a group of individuals surrounds the ship. Positioned a few meters in front and outside the illuminated dome, there stands an individual dressed in attire similar to that worn by contemporary astronauts, as he clarifies. For the continuation of Gösta Carlsson's story, I leave you in the company of 2 Swedish ufology researchers, one of whom knew Gösta Carlsson during his lifetime.
There are moments in life when chance seems to guide us towards unexpected discoveries. We delve into unexpected enigmas. This is precisely what transpired to me a few weeks ago, when I arrived in Sweden as part of a journey prompted by a friend's longing for an escape from reality and a desire to explore the unknown. Not long ago, I was fascinated by Gösta Carlsson's account. He asserted that he had witnessed a UFO in Sweden's Ängelholm area, a destination I happened to visit during my trip. My stay in Sweden was about to take an unexpected turn, leading me to the discovery of a group of Swedish ufologists and to the heart of Gösta Carlsson's mysterious story. While exploring the winding paths of Ängelholm forest, my friend and I came across a group of 3 individuals in the distance, deeply engrossed in a passionate discussion. Intrigued by my camera in hand, someone in the group approached us humorously, unaware of the impending change in our fate. It was revealed that these 3 individuals were Swedish researchers in ufology. Additionally, one of them had the honor of personally knowing Gösta Carlsson during his lifetime. While heading towards the UFO observation site, Michael Carlsson, one of the researchers in the group, told us the captivating and detailed story of Gösta Carlsson.
Yeah, yes. Cupola around the craft, and this cupola, when it hit the ground, it was sparkling.
Okay.
Like they had their own atmosphere inside.
Yes, or something. They were protected inside this cupola,
yes.
And he was not allowed to go inside that.
Yeah. Okay. So they're protecting the ship?
Yeah, both them from our environment, and him, because maybe they had different, well, bacteria and so on.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And then after a while, he thought it was just so odd, so he actually went away from that place down to the sea, and taking his feet in the water, and just thinking, is this real, or is it just some kind of dream?
He didn't believe his eyes.
He didn't believe what he saw. And then he went up to an old fort that was down by the water, and when he climbed up on this, he saw that it was strange light being even more great.
The same
more light, and it's what different color now.
Different
it was a red color.
Wow.
Before that it had been yellow or bluish color.
Okay.
And when he was watching, he could see the craft was actually rising up above the trees, standing still, hovering for a while, and then the legs went inside and a big antenna was putting down to the craft, and then the craft accelerated very fast up in the sky and disappeared.
Wow.
And he was standing there and just, okay, this is probably not an aircraft. And then he went home, and he actually felt a little ill, I think, and he went to sleep, and during his sleep I think he had started having some kind of connections with the crew, actually.
Like
they came to him in dreams and explained to him why they had to land here.
Wow.
And they said they had an accident outside in space with another craft, and 2 crew members actually was killed. So they had to go down to repair the craft, and they wanted to bury their dead crewmen in the ground here outside the craft. But then they decided, no, we can't do that, because then we are putting our bacteria to Earth, and maybe that's not good. So they decided to take the dead crewmen away up in space again and bury them actually on an asteroid out in space.
Wow.
So it's a long story, and he repeatedly had these dreams, and he said that he actually met these crew members in those dreams, and he felt that he was on board the craft and experiencing these meetings. And after a while he also made some business with his brother by using pollen from the flowers and then creating some kind of medicine that was actually sold in the pharmacies in Sweden, and he made millions of this, and it became a very rich man. And after a couple of years in the 60s, he actually started an ice hockey club here in Ängelholm called Rögle. And if you are in town today, in the square where the church is, you can see they have some kind of cars and people dressed up in green shirts. It says Rögle, and that's that ice hockey club that he actually started and financed. And he helped that club to become one of the biggest clubs in Sweden, because he went to Canada and America and bought players and took them to Sweden. And he was the first one in Sweden doing this. Nobody else have done that before. So he became a very famous person here in Ängelholm. Yeah.
So at the start, when he's starting to telling his story,
well, he actually went quiet for a long time. He didn't want to speak about this
not at the first.
accident, well, this event until 1972. That was the first time he actually said, okay, I have
40 decades?
a long time. And then he actually became that rich that he could build this monument. So you're gonna see a big monument that's actually a kind of a model of the craft in the scale 1 to 10. And there are actually marks in the ground from the craft, and they have put some cement on those markings. So now when we are coming out, you're gonna see the craft, how it was described, and then the markings from where it stood on the ground.
The marks are still valid? The marks are still...
Yes.
Nice.
They have filled them with vad heter det? Cement. You will see it just a few minutes from now. I think we are starting to getting quite close now.
So you're going there for the memory of your friend?
Yes. Well, my friend here and his wife, Mats. He's been a part of the UFO Sweden since the 70s. And he has actually met J. Allen Hynek, who is a well-known UFO person from USA, who was actually the person who was doing the investigation of Project Blue Book in USA. And Mats, I met him twice. One in London, and the second time in Norway, when they were doing the Project Hessdalen. And so Mats was in Hessdalen in the 80s with J. Allen Hynek, and he can tell more about that.
It's fascinating. That's why he had a jacket with NASA.
NASA, yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Feeling so good. I like you telling so why so much you know so much I like how you telling this story.
Yeah,
it's fascinating for me. Really
yes, okay,
fascinating. Really?
Nice, thank you. I have been doing this from the 1996 actually.
Oh yes,
because in that year we had a big meeting in Ängelholm in a school there.
Okay.
There, this person Gösta,
yeah.
he was actually there and speaking about his event and showing some objects he actually found on this place.
Okay.
It was a burnt stone. It's called quartz.
Quartz, yes.
It's
of course, yes.
and it's like glass, actually looking like glass,
yes,
with some strange inscriptions on it, and it was burnt in one place, and they said it was kind of energy device for the craft, making it fly.
Wow. Okay.
So it's some kind of fuel elements or something. And he find one of those, and then he finds some cups that they had used drinking something, and they were throwing them out in the nature.
And you have a
and that's strange, because
yes.
then you can ask, wait a minute, if they were afraid of giving us bacteria, why do they litter on our planet and risking spreading bacteria in that way? So there are of course things about this story that you could question about. Did it actually happen as Gösta was telling us, or is it a fabrication from his fantasy, or is it a mix of something he had actually happened here, but he can't recall exactly how it had happened, so we have maybe added some things to his story. And now here
finally
you can see it. It's just fantastic, huh?
Yes, yes.
To try to find out what I have seen. So in the military we actually have a small telephone book. We can use 4 digits to call every kind of information we want, from radar observation, flight radar, civilian, military, and so on. So during the day I actually called several places to try to find, did you have some kind of radar information about this spot? That were actually some strange things about it. But they couldn't see anything during those times. And near this observation there actually was an airfield, a military airfield. So I called them too, to try to ask them, did you have any flights during the morning? No. No flying before 8 o'clock. And this was 7:20 in the morning. So no flights. So we actually, when I have called around everywhere I could, I didn't get any answers. Actually more questions instead. What was it? And I couldn't see any kind of craft, only those 3 yellow, quite dim lights, but they seem to be connected together, not flying around by themselves. So I thought they actually sat on some kind of craft, but it was silent, it wasn't moving fast, it was gliding, and not higher than maybe maximum 50 meters up in the air.
Not too far.
Not far away at all. And maybe 200 meters from the car where we sat. So that's my experience, and that made me puzzled. And then it started really for me, trying to read more about it. But I have done this, well, in my teen years. It started by reading about this story, because we had an author, a man making a lot of pictures and writing for several papers in Sweden, named Eugen Semichov. He was actually a very good painter and doing paintings and so on, sketches and so on. So he actually was here first in 1972 and talked to Gösta. He was the first one doing that and writing about this story. And then it became very famous. And we had actually a UFO group from Gothenburg here in the 70s, trying to make some explanations, doing some tests about the ground and so on. but they couldn't find so much tracks. But they actually find out that these tracks around here aren't perfect. They are actually a little crooked and a little off, you know, the middle. It shouldn't be exactly as it
is perfect.
it is not the perfect place. So they said, well, it's something odd about this, because it's not perfect. If there was an object, as you say, these platforms are actually a bit off. One of them should be a little bit longer away, but it actually isn't. It's too close. So that's why they started to question if he's really telling the truth.
Wow.
But so on, it's a fantastic story, and
Yes.
Gösta is now dead, unfortunately. So we will never find out the truth about this story. And this object that he had, actually, he was telling us, UFO Sweden, that when I die, you're gonna have these objects from me, so you can have them for the rest, well, to explain the story and show off these. But they are never found. And he didn't give them to us.
Okay.
So they are actually gone. We don't know where they are.
Oh, he kept the object and you don't know.
We don't know where they are. He had a daughter who actually left from Sweden. I think she lives in Switzerland.
I don't
Schweiz.
I don't really know.
Yeah, but she left and she didn't want to talk about this.
Okay.
She just, no, I don't want to speak about it. And maybe she's having these objects, but she don't want to give them to us, and she don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Have you told this year when we have a meeting?
Yeah, I saw 96. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Securitas was guarding.
Well, I haven't told about that.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, during 96, when we had a big meeting here, he actually had these objects and showing them in a monter. And 2 guards were standing and protecting them, so nobody was trying to steal them. Armed.
Yeah.
But after that, we never saw them again. These objects, they are gone.
I can take all 3 because I had a friend in Gothenburg, and he was invited, Alan Hynek. We didn't know anything about it, and then he called me and he said, you know, I have a friend here that maybe you will talk to. Oh, I said, who? It's Alan Hynek. And I said, you're joking. Now I gave him the phone, and it really was Alan Hynek. And we talk a lot about UFO and UFO Sweden and Center for UFO Studies, where he was working with. And he told me that in '83 I will be in London for a world conference in UFOs. And if you like, you can come. And it was in August 1983. So I went to London with a couple of people both from Sweden and Norway. And we met Hynek. And we have some discussion and then we had a couple of years before we had a contact with Norway. They had a lot of UFO sightings in Norway, and they didn't know what to do. And they know that UFO Sweden was rather experienced about things, so they asked for help. So we was a couple starting a meeting with Norway in a place up in halfway from Sweden and Norway, up in northern Sweden, and decided to start Project Hestdalen in northern Norway. There people have seen a lot of things, and they told us when we called them at it's no interesting in TV, we look out the window instead. And so in the conference in London, nothing was prepared, and we asked the committee of in London if we could present UFO Hestdalen, and they say, "Oh, you have not come with in the program, but you can get 10 minutes before lunch. And we had a man from Stockholm, and he is a very, very good talker. And he began to present Project Hästdalen in London. And he talk, and the organizer come and said, stop, it's lunch. Do you want to go to lunch, or will you hear the rest? And everybody was sitting still. So he get out and said, people in the kitchen gonna kill me. And he was talking about that. And after this, Alan Hynek went up with the speaker and said that it was very interesting, and I will place some of money, starting money for the project. And then it was lunch. And then the year after, 1984, we started the first project in February. It was very, very cold. It was in February. March snow and stormy and everything. And we took lots of pictures and filmings, and we knocking the door in the whole Hästdalen and talked to people, and it been a thick document about the Hästdalen. And we said we had to do this next year also. And when I come home, when I was going to go home, I was thinking this was hard experience. I never ever gonna go here again. And when I come home, I must go next year again. So 1985 we was back again with a new team, and all of a sudden Alan Hynek come to Norway with a big winter cap and fur and be with us for 1 week. That's the story about our relation with Alan Hynek.
Here we have this UFO grave. You see the date, 18th of May, 1946.
Yeah.
Actually saying here, the dead crewman. Well,
exciting happening.
Here they were digging this room. This.
Okay.
But yes, I think it was too hard, so they decided to take the body with them back home.
Okay. Yeah.
And they didn't want the germs.
No.
Like you said.
But that's strange. They actually left the craft, walking through the forest,
Maybe
putting the bodies here, and then deciding, well, it's not a good idea. That's very strange, because why did they do all that strange behavior?
Yes.
Maybe they plan to put in Sweden a lot of germs or what else?
Yeah,
bacteria.
that was what they were afraid of.
Oh.
Yeah. But they were actually breaking, I think, branches from the tree and putting in the bottom and then adding the bodies. And then, well, it's not a good idea. And so they left this pit and went back to the craft.
Yeah. Like just a
it had been well before. It was actually a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But during the years, of course, people are walking around and the sand is coming down in the pit.
Okay. Wow.
Fantastic. Here we are in Sweden. We are on the site observation of UFO. We came across some charming, on a charming group of a very charming gentleman, a companion as well, another gentleman who accompanies us, who explained the story to us, as you could see from the beginning. It's a UFO site in Sweden, and it's well known. I met him shortly before leaving for Sweden, purely by chance. 3 weeks ago, I stumbled upon this story by chance, and now I'm here.
The extraordinary sequence of serendipitous encounters that had led us to this enchanting forest of observation had an undeniable and inexplicable sense of magic. The coincidence of our trip to Sweden, our encounter with this group of passionate ufologists, and our immersion in the history of Gösta Carlsson seemed almost predestined. It was as though the universe itself had guided us to this very moment, as though we were destined to uncover and unravel the enigmatic celestial mysteries that lay before us. As I reminisce about this truly remarkable encounter, I am unable to suppress the curiosity that arises within me regarding the actuality of chance. Perhaps on occasion, fate guides us towards unexpected discoveries that we could never have envisioned. Perhaps the enigmas of the cosmos exist to serve as a constant reminder that our comprehension of the world is perpetually lacking. In our pursuit of truth, it is vital to remain receptive to the unexpected and unexplained, as these are the domains where the most profound wonders of our existence lie. As we departed the Ängelholm forest, a Swedish region that had become the backdrop for our personal adventure, I was thankful for the unexpected meeting with the ufology researchers, the opportunity to delve into Gösta Carlsson's past, and the ongoing enigmas of the sky that persistently test our understanding. Life is full of unexpected events, and sometimes it is in the lack of certainty that we discover the most valuable solutions.
This UFO sighting is the most well-known and famous in Sweden, perhaps slightly less so for the rest of the world, except of course for seasoned ufology researchers. Personally, I only learned about this story a short time ago, a few weeks before my departure for Sweden, with what sometimes there are some incredible coincidences. Currently, Gösta Carlsson's account is more or less questioned by some ufologist researchers, whether it be in its entirety or in certain details that Gösta would have seen and told. For my part, although with the passing of time, humans often tend to embellish certain aspects of significant events in their lives, I remain convinced that on that evening in May 1946, Gösta Carlsson witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon. Before leaving you, I would like to thank this group of 3 researchers for their testimony and kindness. We experienced a memorable moment on this mysterious and captivating location that will remain in my memory for an extended period of time. The illustrations and photos that you may have observed during this video are sourced from the website of the Swedish Ufology Association. The website can be found at the address ufo.se. The website is in Swedish, but with the help of a reliable online translator, it becomes easily accessible. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. As for me, I will see you next time for a new video. Hi, hello, goodbye, see you soon.